Hi everyone, I'm here to introduce the Signposts team made up of Victoria, Connor, Lewis and myself. Over the past 2 weeks, we've designed and built an iOS app that uses augmented reality to display digital entities in the real world through your device's camera. The app started as a really simple concept. If you're walking along and you pass a nice view, you might want to let someone know exactly where that is. You can't add that as a page on Facebook. You can't put a post on TripAdvisor about it. It's just some point in the world. And that's where our app really comes in. So just by opening it up, writing a short bit of text, and then placing it in the real world just through a tap on your screen, you've created a digital entity that anyone else with the app can find and then see. Put simply, this app connects you to a world only visible through your phone camera lens, with each object being full of useful information. So the digital markers that users can place can be used to say absolutely anything. If it's a great view that you want to note, that's awesome. But if you've also just had like a really good kebab from somewhere, then a signpost next to that shop works just as well to point people in the right direction. It was incredibly gratifying watching the app go from a sketch of the UI to a wireframe like this, and then to the final product that actually runs on all of our phones and looks great. And all of this in less than 2 weeks. So we've got a short video which showcases some of the app's features that we'd like to play for you now. Signs have been around for a long time. Right now, they're being used to keep us 2 meters apart, but mostly they've been used to advertise to us on the tube and on the street. But they've started to get a bit cluttered and a bit bright. So we realised there's probably a better way to do this. What if you tapped an app on your phone and it opened up and it scanned your environment, and in that environment you could say, enter some text. And after you'd entered that text, you could place it anywhere. And I mean anywhere, like throughout your building or on a path. And then what if you wanted to go back somewhere and see a sign that someone else had placed in the exact same place, just like this? But how do you find these signs? Well, you can open up the Explore tab and see every sign in the world, and I mean everywhere in the world. Or you can just open up your own profile page and see just your signs to remind yourself of where you've been. This is just a tiny look at what our new app Signposts can do, and it's much more impressive when you hold it in your hands. So visit our GitHub and download it to your device. Happy graduation. Great. So now I'm going to hand over to Lewis to talk about our learning process.
Thanks, Sam. So Swift is the programming language that Apple mobile apps are written in, and it was a completely new language for all of us to learn. So we began by repeating some of the early challenges from the Makers pre-course, which enabled us to relate back to something that was familiar to us all. That was the first step in making a daunting task more approachable. From there, we followed a tutorial to create our first project in augmented reality, just a cube floating in the middle of the room. But seeing that replicated on our phones, being able to walk around or underneath a 3D object that we had just created was the first of many wow moments for us in the project. Our learning process from that point onwards was a mixture of curiosity, experimentation, and incremental steps and online tutorials. So we've got our floating cube. Can we now add some text to it? We didn't know the answer, but we would go away and do some research amongst ourselves. Often the answer that came back was yes, we can, but. And so Victoria can now talk about some of the challenges we faced.
Unsurprisingly, we did face quite a variety of challenges. Finding the best strategy and structure to coding while also learning a completely new language has been quite challenging. Getting used to a completely new integrated development environment, Xcode, that none of us have used before, choosing the best framework to translate our ideas into a functioning code, and of course, time pressure that forced us to compromise on features that we were so sad on having in our app. You're probably waiting for us to give you a shortcut that solves all of the mentioned problems and difficulties. All I'll say is that there was a lot of Googling, Stack Overflow, YouTube, and simply trying, failing, and trying again. And now I'm going to pass on to Connor that will talk about our behaviors and skills.
So a key part of this project for us was planning and our attitude towards planning. So we used the Trello board, like you can see in the screenshot, to keep track of each task. And this also enabled us to break down each task into more manageable chunks. We also allocated a section of that Trello board to share any good resources we found so that we were able to ensure knowledge sharing throughout the team. We had daily stand-ups and retros to ensure we were all on the same page. And at the stand-ups, we ensured that we allocated time to talk about things other than the project. And this gave us a positive start to the day before focusing on the tasks and challenges that inevitably were waiting for us. But in the end, we overcame all these challenges. We started with a concept and have taken this all the way through to a full-blown iOS app, and we've remained on speaking terms throughout that process. So we're excited to see where this app can go next. So if you want to check it out, head over to our GitHub page where you can find out all the information. Thank you.